Recently, the European Agency for Special Needs and Inclusive Education has published a profile for inclusive teacher professional learning. My name is Annette Vrooy and I work at the European Agency for Special Needs and Inclusive Education. Together with my colleague Amélie Lecheval, I was involved in the Teacher Professional Learning for Inclusion project, which led to the development of a new profile for competence development for inclusive education.
The European Agency for Special Needs and Inclusive Education is an independent organization working with 31 ministries of education across Europe. It aims to support policymakers in the development of inclusive education systems. One of the elements of an inclusive education system is teacher professional learning for inclusion. In this presentation, we will introduce the new competence framework, its purpose, its development, and its use.
The profile for inclusive teacher professional learning was developed in collaboration with representatives and experts of agency member countries. Together, we explored the use of a competence framework for equity and inclusion that would be relevant for all educators. The result of this process is not an entirely new framework. For those of you who have worked with the profile of inclusive teachers, which was developed in 2012, the new profile will be very familiar. But while the former profile was intended to support pre-service teachers only, the new profile offers a complementary tool, including all teachers throughout their career and all educators working alongside teachers in inclusive schooling.
The new profile is the final outcome of the agency's Teacher Professional Learning for Inclusion project. Complementary to the agency's earlier Teacher Education for Inclusion project, it aimed to cover all professional learning policies, opportunities, and activities which foster reflection on competence development for inclusion among all education professionals who work in inclusive learning environments. These are teachers throughout their career, teacher educators, school leaders, specialists, and teaching assistants. The profile for inclusive teacher professional learning refers to this extended group of professionals.
Based on a review of European policies for TPL for inclusion across 27 agency member countries, the TPL for Inclusion project identified important policy gaps in teacher professional learning for inclusion. There is a need for a wider focus on equity instead of a focus on special educational needs. A focus on all education professionals instead of teachers only, and a focus on true competence development instead of fragmented professional learning. To address these gaps, it was decided to revisit the profile of inclusive teachers. In a conceptual working paper on competence development for inclusion, Lani Florian explored the key questions for the development of a new profile. Its value-based approach, as developed for the profile of inclusive teachers, and its alignment with what teachers already do were found to be crucial. In the development of the new profile, we therefore focused on the relevance of a value-based approach as a foundation for competence development for inclusion for all educators, and on its use in inclusive settings. A survey was sent to all agency member countries, followed by focus groups among a cluster of agency member countries.
The outcome is a renewed profile that widens and deepens the initial profile for inclusive teachers, the profile for inclusive teacher professional learning. It is built upon the core values and areas of competence that were identified for the 2012 profile of inclusive teachers, valuing learner diversity, supporting all learners, working with others, and personal and collaborative professional development.
It was found that all core values are relevant for a broad group of education professionals working together in inclusive education. Newly qualified teachers, mentoring teachers, teacher educators, support teachers, specialists, and also teaching assistants. But the fourth core value, which originally stated personal professional development and lifelong learning, needed to be strengthened. It now highlights the added value of collaborative learning among all educators mentioned. As a complementary tool, the Profile for Inclusive Teacher Professional Learning encloses the framework for initial teacher education. The alignment allows for a parallel use of a Profile for Initial Teacher Education and the Profile for Inclusive Teacher Professional Learning among all education professionals.
When we look into the areas of competence associated with the core values, the original framework of the Profile of Inclusive Teachers has expanded. In the Profile for Inclusive Teacher Professional Learning, 2 areas of competence are associated with the first core value, suggesting attitudes and a deeper understanding of equity and quality education, and the professional view on learner difference of all educators involved. Second, the value of supporting all learners leads to 3 areas of competence, highlighting competencies on learners' well-being in addition to the areas of promoting all learners, academic, practical, social, and emotional learning, and the area of effective teaching and flexible organization of support.
Associated with the third value, working with others, 3 areas of competence stand out. The first one highlights advocacy of learners. The second, advocacy for learners, giving them a true voice. In addition, one area emphasizes competences to work with a broad range of education professionals. Finally, the value of personal and collaborative professional development highlights the professional learning modes in which teachers and other educators can be and should be intensively involved throughout their career in order to share learning experiences on diversity, equity, and inclusion. It also considers how to build on initial competences and to move towards interprofessional learning.
The profile is published as a framework of competencies to support educators in their work in inclusive settings. The framework has been translated in 25 languages. Moreover, a full report explains the process and how this may help you in developing or aligning existing frameworks to the core values and areas of competence outlined in the new profile. More specifically, it lists 7 essential features to take into account when developing and adapting competence framework for educators, which also underpin the profile's framework.
These features include the principle of connecting all education professionals, sharing a teacher perspective within a whole school view, taking a value-based approach, focusing on equity and on all learners, encouraging team reflection, taking a holistic and dynamic view of competences, and touching upon all levels of the education system. Finally, its multi-level use is further illustrated in the report. At a personal level, the profile's use for mutual peer feedback is evident. At a policy level, the framework may inspire program development. But most of all, at the school and community level, it may enhance opportunities for team reflection and the development of professional learning communities for inclusion.
The framework of core values, areas of competence and suggested attitude, knowledge and skills for each of the areas of competence is also published as an open source document. It lists the essential attitude and beliefs, or the basic assumption underpinning inclusive education, the knowledge and understanding, or the essential insights, evidence and theoretical basis of quality education for all, and the practical skills considered to be essential for daily inclusive practice, for decision-making in different situations and contexts, and for reimagining practice based on basic assumption and knowledge.
All outputs of the Teacher Professional Learning for Inclusion project are listed on the agency's project activity webpage, and an overview of the project's main findings is also available on an infographic as shown on the left.
For any further information, please visit the website or contact the European Agency Secretariat.
Thank you for your interest in the topic, and we wish you a successful journey in the development of professional learning activities for inclusion.